Okay, sorry for the delay. So let's start. So this is lesson relating to substantive procedure for SOFP item. This statement of balance sheet item. All right. Okay. All right. So in your exam, most of the substantive procedure tested is relating to SOFP item. Most lah. Okay, most. All right. Now, how to answer? Okay, yesterday I've shared with you on how to answer SP, right, for SOPL item, which, okay, let's say you have PPE. Okay, so you need to look into the point of view of, okay, make sure your answer include analytical procedure, or to be specific, substantive analytical procedure. And also you need to think of the assertion, because this is SOFP, therefore the related assertion would be CREV, completeness, rights, existence, and valuation. Okay, and one more thing, you can think of the point of view of accounting standard. Okay, so PPE, is there any specific accounting standard relating to PPE? Which is yes, which is your IAS 16, right? PPE. Okay, so your answer is basically, yeah, you can derive SP from in a point of view of this, and also this. Okay, so let me show you, demo to you first before we look into a more complicated question. Okay, analytical procedure is all about compare. Therefore, maybe compare PPE, or if the question asks about addition, then you compare addition. And for PPE, for current year against prior year. Okay, but of course, put it in a full sentence. What is the purpose? To investigate any significant fluctuation or significant difference. Okay. Is there anyone new here? I don't know. Did you guys attend last class? Yeah, I think all the names attend here today is a familiar name. So I want to remind you again, must have verb, must have subject. What are you comparing? You are comparing this, subject or source, and must have purpose. Verb, subject, purpose. Okay. Right. Number 2, you can think of ratios. Is there any specific ratios relating to PPE? The answer is no. Okay, current ratio is not relating to PPE alone. Okay, therefore, don't what? Don't put in something which is not applicable lah. Kalau tak ada lah. Okay, so now we can move to this lah. Okay, now C, completeness. Okay, to assist you, okay, one of another approach I showed you yesterday is maybe you can think of the purpose first, which is to ensure completeness. Then here you need to bring in your knowledge. What is the flow when client record their physical, their PPE? So usually there will be physical asset, okay, reach at the premise, and then they will record in the NCA register, okay, and then the amount in NCA register will flow to the financial statement. Okay, so that is the flow lah. That is something that we need to put into our answer. Hold on, this one. Okay, so you can use the word what? Trace from. Okay, maybe physical PPE to what? To NCA register. Okay, and to the FS to ensure completeness. Okay, or trace samples of lah can also, if you like to use this wording of samples of, it can. All right, that is for completeness. Let's say you want to test on existence. Okay, existence again. Now this is something I've already mentioned yesterday. You are going to go backwards lah. So from FS, agree back from FS to NCA register, and finally to the physical PPE. To the physical PPE, yeah, to ensure its existence. Right? Rights. How do you confirm rights? How do you know that those assets belongs to the company? Okay, if this is a buildings or a land, then you would have title deed, sales and purchase agreement. Okay, if this is a motor vehicle, then you would have motor vehicle registration fact. Okay, this is the wording that I usually use lah. I think there will be another acceptable wording or documents as well. Okay, if it is a normal like a furniture, okay, then we can only look into the invoice. Make sure the invoice is in the name of the client. Okay, that one is for rights. That is how you confirm rights. Okay, now pay extra attention here. Okay, now V, the most examinable assertion in exam. Okay, V, valuation. Okay, V and accounting standard is actually hand in hand. V means valuation, which is, as auditor, we want to confirm or we want to verify that the PPE is reported at correct value. But what is correct? I mean, how do you know it's correct? Correct here means, or correct value means those value comply with the accounting standard. Because accounting standard, usually they are going to teach you on how much to recognize, what can be recognized, what are the criteria that can be recognized. Okay, so if you over recognize, then your value stated in FS would be overstated. If you under recognize, then something which supposed to be recognized or capitalized as PPE but you did not capitalize, therefore your PPE will be understated. Okay, so that's why valuation and accounting standard is something I would say hand in hand. All right, now if you are being tested specifically for valuation of PPE, okay, then you can think of two point of view. Number one, your accounting standard, and number two, relating to the this one. Look carefully, okay? Possible deduction relating to PPE lah. Okay, now tell me what should be deducted from PPE. I give you hint. If it is trade receivable, usually we are going to deduct allowance for trade receivable or allowance for doubtful debt. For PPE, what do we deduct out of PPE? Type in the chat box, guys. I need some response. Yes, exactly. Depreciation, correct. Depreciation, write-off, okay, correct. Accumulated depreciation, yes. So possible deduction would be depreciation and something that needs to be written off, which is usually it is relating to damaged asset. Damaged asset lah. Okay, something that you need, should be written off. So if examiner asks for valuation assertion, okay, the requirement would be describe substantive procedure to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence in relation to valuations of PPE. Then please think in the point of view of this and this. Okay, so whenever you throw answer relating to depreciation, it is you are answering examiner's requirement, because you remember this. Okay, imagine this. Senang je sebenarnya. When we deduct out depreciation, it will impact the value presented in FS. Which is why if you talk about depreciation, you are actually answering examiner's requirement to test on valuations of PPE, procedure to test on the valuations of PPE. Okay, and whenever you talk about, you want to make sure that damaged asset is being written off, then yes, you are also correctly answering the requirement. Okay, right, now let me demo to you. Okay, what do we remember about IAS 16? Can you guys throw anything that you remember about IAS 16 in the chat box? I want to use your points to generate my answer. What do you remember about IAS 16? What do you remember about revaluation? What do you remember about, what else? Anything lah, IAS 16. What do you remember about IAS 16? Type in the chat box. In the chat box. What do you remember about IAS 16? Gain on revaluation. What else? Revaluation model and cost model. Okay. What about the recognition criteria? Cost directly attributable to bring the asset to use. Okay, that is a good one. What is the initial recognition? Apa initial recognition is one? What are initial recognition? What else, guys? What kind of criteria? Yeah. Come on. I tak jumpa lagi jawapannya I nak dalam this chat box. You guys think first. I nak pergi ambil food delivery sekejap. Okay, hold on. Okay. Hasnul can give future economic benefits. Cost of the asset can be measured reliably. Okay. The asset must be present at the year end. Okay. Recognition at the time the costs are incurred. Okay. Is it possible that future economic it is possible that a future economic benefit associated with the asset will flow to the entity? Okay. Mm, hmm. Hmm. Okay. I start from the top. Okay. Sorry. Okay. I think it should. Okay. Gain on revaluation. We cannot use here, but I will show you later on how to use. On that page check. I'll show you later how we can use gain on revaluation. Revaluation model, cost model. Okay. Cost directly attributable to bring the asset to use. Okay. Initial condition. Apa tadi? Directly attributable. Can give future benefits. Okay. I think you can use two. Okay. Let's say I want to use Laila's answer. Cost directly attributable to bring the asset to use. Kan? Okay. Meaning that is under IS 16. So let's say I want to use that as part of my SP. I'm going to verify or assess whether costs capitalized as PPE, are they those costs that directly attributable to bring the asset to use, such as transportation costs, installation costs, kan? Right. So maybe I'm going to obtain breakdown. So now I know what is my, I know my purpose, which is I'm going to check whether did client only capitalize those costs which directly attributable to bring the asset to use. So I'm trying to design my verb and subject lah. Okay, so obtain. I'm going to obtain breakdown of PPE capitalized, okay, to assess the nature of cost. Obtain breakdown of PPE capitalized or maybe new asset, kan, to assess the nature of cost, whether cost capitalized as PPE are those costs. Banyaknya perkataan cost. Obtain breakdown of PPE capitalized to assess the nature of the cost. Okay, tak apa, kita tulis dulu. Are those costs okay, whether the cost capitalized SP are those costs that are directly attributable to bring the asset to use. Okay, so it's a bit long, but yeah, I think you guys can summarize this, but my mind right now, I don't have the ability to summarize. Okay, but yeah, if you get the pictures, then that is okay already. So I'm going to obtain breakdown to see whether, or to assess whether what is the nature of the cost capitalized, whether those costs capitalized are all directly attributable to bring the asset to use. Okay, if let's say when I review the breakdown, okay, when I assess the breakdown, review the breakdown, I notice that certain costs are not directly attributable to bring the asset to use, such as what? Maybe I found out there's a training cost. Okay, so that is where I'm going to inquire the management, why did you include training costs? Okay, for example. Okay, next point, apa ni? Future economic benefits. Okay, I'm going to assess whether those assets can bring in money to the business, kan? Okay, so maybe I'm going to inquire management, kan, the purpose of acquired PPE. Okay, inquire management the purpose of acquired PPE, and the purpose and expected use kot. The purpose and expected use. Okay, expected use of acquired PPE to verify if if those PPE can generate future economic benefits to the company. Okay, this is examples how you can use your accounting standard knowledge to be included in the answer of valuation, because you have to remember, if the company capitalize certain asset which doesn't generate any income to the company, therefore PPE will be overstated. Overstated means that it is overvalued lah. Okay, right. So actually this two is quite complicated. Okay, in AA the simple one usually used by examiner is obtain breakdown, okay, of PPE to review whether all costs capitalized is capital expenditure in nature. Sorry, my handwriting is so bad today. Okay, what that is capital expenditure in nature. Okay, not revenue expenditure. Okay, examples how you can make use of accounting standard to be included in valuation assertion answer. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds here. Maybe you want to write some answer down. Okay, done. Okay, now I want to demo to you how to use the second part on the possible deduction. Okay, how to make use of that. This is to answer valuation assertion, which is the most important, the most famous assertion tested by examiner. Okay, now you think of PPE, then you think of what are the possible deduction. Then you mentioned to me depreciation and write-off, right? So any answer that you provided relating to depreciation, you will get marks for valuation assertion tested. Okay, so let's say let's say this is number 4, right? Recalculate, a simple one. Recalculate depreciation based on cost and useful life, and agree. Based on cost and useful life to ensure mathematical accuracy. Okay, even though it's a mathematical accuracy, but when you verifying depreciation, you are indirectly verifying the valuations of PPE. Okay, so 1 mark here. Number 5, let's say still on depreciation. Okay, you want to assess, your purpose would be, let's say you want to assess the reasonableness of the useful life used by your client. Your client depreciate their, let's say, machinery for 10 years, and now you bring in your skepticism, you are going to challenge that. You are going to verify, is it reasonable that useful life for this machine is 10 years? Okay, so how can we determine the reasonableness of this useful life? We can physically inspect. Physically inspect the what? The conditions of PPE, or be specific lah. If exam mention machine, then you put machine. Okay, so physically inspect the conditions of PPE, to verify, or to confirm, or to assess. Okay, to verify the reasonableness of useful life used by management. Full stop. Okay, what else related to depreciation? Okay, if this is a revalued asset, let's say during the year, client decide to revalue their buildings. Okay, they decide to adopt revaluation model. Okay, so suddenly, examiner asks for valuation SP relating to PPE, specifically for valuations assertion. Okay, so maybe you can throw in something like, what do we remember about depreciation for revalued asset? The depreciation should be calculated based on the revalued amount, kan? Ini dia simple je, dia ambil accounting standard yang simple punya. It doesn't go really, doesn't, dia tak test pun lah yang complicated. Okay, so let's move on. Apa ni? This one, kalau depreciation compared to industry average, can? Yes, you can compare useful life used by the management with the industry average to assess the reasonableness of useful life use. Can? Okay, so there are a lot of answers. Not just limited to what examiner put in their suggested answer, not limited to what provided in BPP workbook, not just limited to what I've shared with you in my notes, not limited to what your lecturers have provided you before. Okay, as long as it is reasonable, it makes sense, then it could be a correct answer. Okay, now let's say scenario is this is revalued asset. Okay, revaluation happened during the year, so there will be depreciation charge, kan? So you might want to recalculate the depreciation for revalued asset, and based on what? Based on revalued amount. Based on revalued amount, is it remaining useful life? Can someone vouch for me? Are we going to depreciate revalued asset using the remaining useful life? Cannot remember. Macam ya, okay. So recalculate depreciation for revalued asset based on revalued amount, remaining useful life, and what? And prorate lah. Prorate to what? Prorate to apa? Prorate to correct period. Okay, to ensure mathematical accuracy. Okay. Or prorate to respective lah. Sedap sikit dengar kot. Prorate to respective period to ensure mathematical accuracy. Okay, what else relating to depreciation? Apa? Apa lagi? Tu je kot. Okay. Alright, let's say you are going to answer relating to write off. Yeah, this one I don't want to, yeah. Okay, I just give answer verbally, can I? So let's say for asset that should be written off, kan? Maybe you want to obtain the list of damaged assets. Sorry. Okay, something like apa? Okay lah, boleh lah. Or basic or simple one. Inquire management if damaged asset, just simple sangat je, has been written off. Boleh, okay lah. Inquire management whether damaged asset has been written off and agree to the SOPN. So you are inquiring management, and at the same time you are double confirm in entry lah, or in entry in SOPI whether there is an item relating to this written off. Okay, memang you boleh check tau, senang je nak check. Let me show you how to check. This is okay, sekejap eh. If you want to check whether client did write off certain asset, then you might want to look into the notes to the financial statement. Ni apa ni? Revenue kan. Okay, relating to, what is this? Yeah, relating to PPE. Okay. Ini, dia dekat sini, written off. Then you can see lah, where is it? So they did written off furniture and fittings. Okay, this much. Renovation pun write off juga ke? Renovation. Yeah, whatever lah. Okay. So you can simply ask and agree to the notes to the financial statement. Okay. Or you might want to start from here. Apa? Based on the, not to say based. And then tak apalah, don't, let's not complicate our life. Okay. Okay? So that's it lah for valuation. We have to remember, when it comes to valuation assertion, you have to think of accounting standard and possible deduction. For inventory, guys, IAS 2, write-off is what? Written down to NRV, allowance for slow-moving stock, damaged inventory should be written off, and IAS 2. What about trade receivable? Trade receivable, we don't really have a specific accounting standard for trade receivable, so you are only looking at the point of view of the possible deduction relating to PPE, which is your allowance for that food debt. Okay, so your procedure is only focusing on reviewing whether allowance for that food debt is sufficient or not. That is where your aging comes in. Look into the correspondence for any dispute. Apa lagi? Ada lagi lah, dah lupa dah. Okay, nanti kita tengok balik. Alright, done. For valuation, for valuation. Alright, so let's look into few questions together. Okay, let's look into few questions together so that you will be more confident in answering SP question. Okay, mana soalan semalam? Let's look into this set first, December 2018. It's okay if you do not have this copy of what's this? Yang D ni kita buat nanti lah. Yang D ni kita buat nanti. Okay, bank balances. We have discussed trade receivable. Okay. Hold on. Kita tak best pula bank balances tu. Okay. Okay. Okay lah. Let's look into this question. This question is recommended by examiner for you to attempt before exam. Okay. So maybe it is not as straightforward as per what I've shown you just now, but yeah, it is a good start lah for you to help you in answering SP question. Okay, so let's go to the first one, trade payable and accruals. Okay, the requirement is of course straightforward je. Describe substantive procedure the auditor should perform to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence in relation to completeness only, guys. Completeness only of trade payables and accrual. Okay, so let's look into this client. It is 1st July. Pacific cooperates with a chain of 14 retail stores across the country, selling its own range of cosmetic product. You are the audit supervisor of Caribbean & Co, and the final audit is due to commence shortly for the year ended 31st May. Draft FS show revenue of this much and PBT this much. The following 3 matters have been brought to your attention. Okay, as part of the year-end process, Pacific Co-payable ledger is closed at the end of the day on 31st May, which is the correct way lah. Close here means that they are going to recognize everything lah. Okay, all invoice they are going to recognize, all payment also recognize, so they can close the ledger at the year end date, which is correct. Okay, any invoice received after this date relating to goods received before year end are recorded in the goods received, not invoice. GRNI accrual. Okay, which is a perfect procedure. Okay, any relating to goods already received before year end, but invoice yet to be received, they put in accrual. In a way, it is still a liability, okay, which is a perfect procedure. This is what we want from our client. If there are some goods they already received, but they are waiting for the invoice, since this is year end, nak tak nak kena record juga as accrual, as in a liability. Okay, because if you want to argue in saying that macam mana client, how do client know what is the amount, right? Maybe that is something that you want to argue. So the answer is your client is already aware on the expected amount, because yelah, takkanlah client you beli barang yang diorang tak tahu harga kan. And the normal practice is your client would obtain quotation first from the supplier prior to purchase goods lah from those supplier. So amount tu bukan masalah. I mean, they know how much to accrue. Okay, they know how much to accrue. Okay, so this, I would say, this is a perfect scenario. Perfect scenario. Okay, now this year, jangan masalah je. This year, the payable ledger was kept open in error until 1st June. So meaning that extra 1 day. As a result, significant payment run for supplier made by bank transfer on 1st June was recorded in the 2015 payable ledger. So there's a payment yang diorang dah record during the year. I mean, the payment is supposed to be recorded after year end, but they record during the year, at the year end. So I would imagine that trade payable now is reduced significantly due to this payment. Okay, so yeah, now trade payable is understated. Okay, finance director has confirmed that year-end trade payable balance was corrected using a journal. What is journal? Journal is basically management, dia manually lah, dia adjust. Okay, let's say Asnul, I nak you debit balik, I want you to debit again cash, okay, to correct the error, and credit back the trade payable, add on back the trade payable to correct this error lah. Okay, so yeah, the concern now is perhaps trade payable is understated, which is why examiner asked for completeness assertion. Completeness is basically something that should have been recorded, have been recorded. Completeness is basically we want to make sure that whatever that should be recorded has been recorded. So perhaps there are certain trade payable balance that should be recorded but already been taken out due to the payment just now, which is now trade payable balance is not complete. Kan, there is something missing lah due to that error just now. Okay, now completeness. So how many marks? 5 marks. Okay, so if you want to throw any general answer relating to completeness, can. Okay, but I suggest you to at least utilize some information in this scenario here as part of your answer. Okay, maybe you want to check this journal. Ni I bagi hint dekat you. Maybe you want to check this journal. You want to confirm what is the amount of the payment being made. Okay, at least 2 out of 5, focusing on the scenario. So the other 3, you can throw in any general answer relating to the trade payables, SP, specifically for completeness. Okay, so guys, I would like you to try. Okay, give it a try on this one. Then later on we discuss. Okay, I only need 5 SP from you. Well taught SP. I don't want a half-cooked SP, eh? Okay, try. Give it a try first. I give you about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Okay, so we discuss around 9:10 p.m. Okay, as usual, you can put your answer in the web, in the chat box. Boleh lah. Later on, I will copy and we discuss. Okay, give it a try. Trade payables and accrual. Okay, we discuss 9:10 p.m. Okay, done. I think I received 5 answers. Hold on. Hmm. Macam mana I nak buat? Okay. This will do. Okay. So let's discuss. Let's look into each one's answer first. Okay, it is about completeness, right? Okay, trace the PO to GRN to purchase invoice. PO, GRN invoice to ensure it is included in the trade payable ledger. Okay. And but I would prefer here. Macam tak cantik pula mana yang this one. Okay. I would prefer here to be unpaid because this is about payable, right? Meaning that this is relating to unpaid invoices. And so I would prefer, I don't know, this is my preference. Okay, so it will be, more towards we are answering payables. Okay, payables. Okay, to ensure it is included in the trade payable ledger. Okay lah, can lah, 1 mark here. Number 2, agree trade payable ledger closing balance in prior year with the opening balance of the current year to ensure it has been brought forward correctly. Okay. For procedure number 2, you are actually auditing the opening balance because you are agreeing prior year figure with the current year figure. A prior year figure with the current year opening balance. However, yes, this is one of the procedure done by auditor. However, auditor's focus is more towards the closing balance, especially since mentioned in the scenario that they close the ledger, trade payable ledger, 1 day late. Kan? One day late. So the focus is not so much on opening balance, but more towards on the closing balance. Okay, so I'm not going to give marks here. Okay, so ini tak ada markah lah. Okay, I would say yes, this is a common procedure lah done by auditor. Tapi auditor bukan dia nak tengok sangatnya opening balance, dia nak tengok closing balance, whether it is correctly stated or not. That is way more important than the opening balance. Okay, lain lah kalau this is loan. Okay, it is something yang, ada kaitan, like loan last year berapa, and then for the current year, how much is the repayment, how much is the additional loan, and then that bring to the closing balance. But for trade payable, it is, macam dia, everyday dia bertukar kan? Because there's a new invoices, there's a new payment being made. So yeah, okay. So I hope you get the pictures and the ideas lah. Alright, number 3, review after year ended payment to trade payable. If it is related to the current year, confirm it has been included in the accrual listing. This is good. Okay, 1 mark. Whatever payment being made by our client, we investigate. Is this relating to the? If it relate to liability for current year, okay, and confirm it has been included in the accrual listing. Okay, meaning that whatever that is, okay, when client make payment, it is actually proof that they have obligation of that much as at the end. So we just want to make sure, since our client paid, let's say 100,000, is this 100,000 included in the liability as at the end? Sometimes client, sometimes client did not record the liability. They only record once payment made, which is wrong lah. Okay, move on. Number 4, inspect bank statement post year end and cash book. If it relate to the payment after the end, dan nama bank statement post year end. If it relate to payment after, confirm that client has adjusted using the inspect bank statement post year end and the cash book. If it relate to the payment after year end, confirm that client has adjusted using. Kalau I baca banyak kali ni, maksudnya either salah or your sentence didn't really get to me lah. So, usually kalau I baca banyak kali sangat tu, I put 0 lah. Okay, meaning that your message tak sampai dekat I. Number 5, for examples of individual supplier statement. Supplier statement is a good one if you want to check for completeness. Okay, whatever amount recorded by your client, you cross check to the supplier statement, make sure it agrees. Or kalau tak agree pun tak apa. If it is not agree with the supplier statement, it's okay, ask for a reconciliation. Okay, and make sure that reconciliation is only due to timing differences. Right, okay. Agree that balance included in the individual trade. Okay, and 1 mark. Okay, so 3 out of 5 is 1. Okay, now let's move to, I think this is Kumar's answer. Compare payable turnover days for current year against prior year. in order to investigate any significant difference. Yes, this one is actually 1 mark, and I want to remind you this is actually for completeness. Okay, imagine this. Turnover days prior year is 50 days. Suddenly become 31 days. You compare trade payable turnover days, kan? Guys, auditor look into this pattern, auditor will think of this is, there is something wrong in the trade payable. Because there is no company in this world who would like to pay their supplier even faster lah. Client is not going to, or a company as a whole, when it comes to payment, they will try to pay as late as possible. This is to ensure that they have a good cash flow. Unless their supplier offer early settlement discount. However, we can assume that if certain supplier offer early settlement discount, they are going to take up that early settlement discount for prior year as well. So meaning that, it is still going to be more or less that there will be no significant decrease in trade payable turnover days. So the decrease is mostly it is due to trade payable understated. Trade payable terkurang record, which is not complete. Okay, 1 mark here. Good answer. Number 2. Remember that principle, because that principle is tested in MCQ. Your section A. So put lagi. Number 2. Obtain a trade accounts payable, listing, and cast the list of balances, then agree the balance to purchase ledger accounts. Obtain trade payable ledger, trade accounts payable listing, and cast and agree to the purchase ledger account. Cast and agree. Can for completeness. Okay, but what is missing here is actually Kumar. I think this is Kumar's answer. There is no doesn't really link back to the scenario, meaning that there's no answer which make use of the issues in the scenario. Okay, done. Okay, next one. Saved photo. Mana lagi? So this is my, ini anak I. 1 year old, 1.5. Compare trade payable. This one is this one. Okay, Hasnus. Macam mana tadi? Mana edit? Try ni. Okay. Okay, Hasnus answer. Compare trade payable and accrual for current year with the prior year. Okay, good. 1 mark here. Compare trade payable. Yes, 1 mark here. Number 3. Inspect few samples of paid invoice with the bank statement for payment made to confirm. Inspect few samples of paid invoice with bank statement for payment made to confirm the amount paid in trade payable and accrual. Inspect few samples of paid invoice with the bank statement for payment made to confirm the amount paid in trade payable and accrual. I think the point of view of this answer is you want to verify what is the payment amount made on that 1st June. Is it, Hasnul?
Yes.
So, yeah, this could be correct answer lah if you be specific. You want to investigate how much is the payment made on that 1st June. Okay, because you want to make sure that payment made on that 1st June is reversed back. Okay, the client dia buat adjustment lah, reverse back. Reverse back lah, to include back in cash and include back in the trade payables account. So yeah, this could be correct answer, but please be specific lah. You want to inspect for payment made on 1st June, okay, and perhaps add on here and agree with the adjustment made. Then it will be a perfect answer. Okay. Next one, obtain trade payable confirmation letter from the supplier with the consent of client. Okay, kan? You want to ensure completeness, kan? You want to ensure as at year end, what is the amount due to certain supplier? You obtain confirmation from that supplier. As at 31st May, what is the balance due to you from our client? So from there you can cross check to your client's record whether it completes or something is missing or something has already been paid. Okay, correct answer. Few sample of unpaid invoice with a payable ledger. Good, 1 mark here. Okay, so overall, good answer. Okay, next. Okay, Umar dan Laila. Okay, Laila's answer. Obtain supplier statement and reconcile to payable ledger. Okay, can? 1 mark. Reconcile to the payable ledger to investigate any reconciling item. Trace from GRM to invoice and final to payable ledger. Okay lah, can. Select sample of post and payment from cash book and follow through the payable ledger to ensure they are recorded in the correct period. Select the samples of post and payment. Okay, and I want to relate this to the scenario. Okay, you can put in bracket especially. Okay, especially on 1st June. Can? And follow through the payable ledger to ensure they are recorded in the correct accounting period, which is on 20x6. Year end lah, the next year end. Make sure that the payment made on 1st June is recorded on the following accounting year. Okay, something like that. Okay. Oh, Shazlin's answer. Select a sample of trade payable balance. Okay. Or I hold on. Apa ni? Okay. I don't like this We are not going to just look into a sample. We are going to look into samples of trade payable balance and perform circularization. Okay? Okay. 1 mark. Right? Okay, so there's some good answer there. Kuma. Ini yang semalam kan? Ini yang semalam, I think. Ya, ini yang semalam. Okay, so yeah, those who attempt this question, that is quite a good answer. Yang tak attempt, I tak tahu lah what's your weaknesses. I cannot highlight that to you. Okay, which I highly encourage you to send some samples of answer so that I can review lah. Okay, all right, good. Shall we move forward or do you need a break?
Break.
Tunggu ayah. Okay, we take 15 minutes break. 15 minutes break. We continue. Berapa ni? 45, 9:50. 9:50 PM. Okay, we are going to continue for provision, claim and revenue. 15 minutes. Okay, shall we continue? All right. So how is the substantive procedure now? I hope better than 3 days ago. Better than 3 days ago. Can see light at the end of the tunnel already. Dah nampak ke cahaya-cahayanya nak jawab soalan SP? Kuma can answer a good SP already. I hope. Mana ni semua orang ni di belakang back screen ni? Ada orang tak? Hopefully. Sazlin, Amalina, Laila, Arisha, Arvin, Izwan, Anira, Nadira. Nadira ni macam baru join. Zaid. Okay. Alright, so let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So for SP, this is my approach lah. I guide you on how to answer SP and you send me your answer, then we discuss together lah. Okay. Alright, so next one, let's move on to provision for legal claim. Okay, so in March, when it comes to provision, I think it is quite important for you to take note on the timing. Okay, so year end is May and year end is May. So what happened on 1st March? What happened in March? In March, a number of claims were received by the company from customer who suffered severe allergic reaction after using one of Pacifico product. They allege that the product ingredients listed on the label were incorrect. An internal investigation has suggested that one batch of the product had been incorrectly labeled. The finance director has recognized a provision in the draft FS of 0.5 million. Okay, when it comes to liability, this is liability, right? Provision for legal claim. It is relating to your IAS 37. Okay, when 37 lah. When if it is probable, then client should record provision. Remember this, probable provision. If it is possible, then only contingent liability. Just disclose contingent liability. Okay, and as auditor, our concern would be number one, correct recognition of liability or correct or adequate disclosure. Adequate disclosure. Number two, if it should be recognized, then we want to make sure that the amount is sufficient. Okay, so yeah, that is something that you need to think of when you are answering provision for legal claim. Okay, now when it comes to provision for legal claim, I like to use approach of understand the flow as per what I've shown you yesterday. Okay, so now let's bring our imagination, guys. In the point of view of a company, what is the flow of this, of this legal claim? I start first. Maybe the first step is they receive claim letter lah kan? Claim letter from customer. Okay, suing. How to address suing? How to spell suing? Suing. Macam mana dia suing? S-U-I-N-G. Okay, suing the company. This is the first step. Then this is what happened. Perhaps in March. Is it in March? Yeah, a number of claims were received. Okay, then what do you think happened next in the company? Can you type in the chat box? What do you think happened in the company after that when they receive several claim letter from the customers? What are the next steps? Are they going to straight away pay those customers suing them? Open provision account? Not yet. Hire lawyer, perhaps. Investigate, okay. But not the correct answer. What else? Okay, perhaps investigate tak lah. What else? If something serious happen, what do you do? Okay, now what do you do? Let's say something serious happened to you. What do you do? Product recall? Not really. Product recall may be correct, but this question is about provision for legal claim. Okay, so that is also correct, but now we focus on the provision. Okay, they are going to start with D. They are going to yeah, discuss lah, because this is not a small matter, kan? When you receive a number of claims from customer, discuss with who? With the directors lah, yeah, which is with the board of directors. They are going to discuss what do we do. Are we going to just accept straight away, or are we going to discuss our court? Okay, settle our court. or are we going to kill them, for example. Okay. And then usually we are going to protect ourselves. That is where we are going to hire lawyer. Hire lawyer and seek what? Seek advice lah. Seek advice and seek advice on what to do kan? What to do. Okay, what to do. What is the probability? Seek advice and get the probability lah from the lawyer. Kan? Okay, what is number 4? After that, after you hire lawyer, so based on whatever lawyer has mentioned us, we are going to record in FS. Okay, if it is probable, if lawyer mentioned, you confirm kalah lah, it is confirmed already that you need to pay because this is all your wrongdoings. Kan? Therefore, you have to record provision. If lawyer say, for only possible lah, there's still some chances that you are going to win against your customer. So, company should only perhaps record contingent liability. Okay? Okay, then after that, record lah. And then, number 5, maybe, court lah kan? Court hearing. And number 6, you are going to pay lah. If you are paying, then you are going to pay. Okay, so, at the year end, usually when it comes, okay, at the year end, of course, at the year end, it will be here lah kan? If those legal claim has been paid, kalau dah bayar, meaning that there will be no more provision in the FS. Okay, and the examiner did mention here, already recognized lah some provision. So we are at this stage. Okay, so the outcome of this legal claim is still unknown. Okay, so when you know the process, you can think of the evidence. Okay, so here, evidence or the subject source, kan, to put on the S, kan, VSP kan, verb subject purpose, to put on the S. So here, you can obtain the claim letter from the customer. Then you know, then only auditor can confirm that this legal action is really exist and still ongoing. Number 2, client discuss among themselves. So you can have board minute meeting. Okay, to know what is the decision lah. Usually during the meeting, okay, the directors is not only going to talk about it, but they are going to decide what to do. Okay, so hire lawyer. Can we inquire the lawyer? Yes, can. We can contact the lawyer, inquire lawyer. Even we can get confirmation from the lawyer. Okay, can. So record in FS, you look into the notes to financial statement or the financial statement itself. Okay, and make sure the amount is reasonable lah. Amount recorded is reasonable or in line with the explanation by lawyer. Okay, or not explanation, sorry, estimation by lawyer. Okay, court hearing we are not going to attend. It is not our, kenapa auditor nak attend? It is not our, we are not required to attend. Okay, so payment, when the client make payment, we can always check to the bank statement. Okay, so this is number 1, marks number 2, third marks number 4, marks number 5. When you can imagine the flow, it is quite easy for you to come up with the procedure. Okay, especially this question. Where is this question? Then just describe SP relating to the provision for legal claim. There is no specific assertion requested by examiner. Okay, so now, do you want my answer or you want to draft your answer? I'll let you decide. Okay, so number 1. Kumar dah bagi jawapan dah. Wow. Kumar apa ni? Jawapan Kumar boleh pakai? Ni you buat sendiri ke apa ni? Where you get this answer? Or you draft from? I think all is okay. During break, wow, amazing. Kumar sangat rajinnya Kumar rupanya. Kumar is my star student. Okay, okay, but never mind. Just to Kumar, your answer is correct. 5 marks to you. Okay, so claim later. Okay, just want to demo to you how to. This is second time I demo to you by using the process. Okay, our second approach, which is by using the process. Okay, then maybe inspect claim letter. Claim letter by, is it by customer? Customer, yes. By customer, okay. Suing, what's the name? Pacific Home. Okay. To what? The purpose is to verify the existence and maybe the scale or the significance. Okay, and significance of legal claim. Okay, number 2, board minute meeting. Then we are going to obtain board minute meeting to assess or assess. Tadi I suka ucapan Kumar tadi, board minute meeting to to understand the reason directors believe that provision will be successful. Okay, to assess the decision by the management and their evaluation, kan, whether a legal claim would be successful or otherwise. Okay, because we have to get this, kan, because it will lead to impact in the financial statement. It will lead to, or it will have impact on the FS. It would have impact on the FS. Which is, if directors believe that the legal claim would not be successful, perhaps only contingent liability is required, or no disclosure at all required. So that's why we have to get the board minute meeting. Okay, what is number 3? Lawyer. So you can discuss with the lawyer, discuss or inquire with the lawyer on the probability. Please use this probability of the legal claim being discuss with lawyer on the probability of legal claim being successful against specific goal, and what is now? Discuss with lawyer on the probability of the legal claim being successful against specific goal, to assess reasonableness of accounting treatment. Okay, so if you want to put in bracket, I think good. I think okay. I mean, I've seen a lot of ACCA tutor, and not in Malaysia lah. They practice to include this bracket. So yes, you can include lah. Okay, so you can put in something like provision. Discuss with lawyer on the probability of the legal claim being successful against specific goal to assess reasonableness of accounting treatment, provision or contingent liability. Okay, number 4, inspect FS lah. Inspect FS if provision is recorded. Okay, in bracket, if it is probable, and inspect notes to financial statement, disclose. Then, not disclose. And inspect notes to financial statement for contingent liability disclosure. Okay, in bracket, if it is possible. Okay. And last one, relating to the payment made. Okay, you can use Kumar's answer. Inspect post and cash book and bank statement for evidence of settlement of any legal claim that has been paid. Okay, can. Most of my students, especially for my part-timer student, they prefer this way because they say it's easier to come up with answer. Up to you. Okay. Why do we inspect bank statement, guys? If you want to relate back to the assertion, it is to confirm obligation assertion, and also valuation assertion, because we want to confirm what is the value of the liability that is supposed to be paid. Okay, obligation and valuation. Okay, so examiner asks how much, what is the requirement? Oh, tak ada markah yang ni. Minimum 10. I believe 5. I'm not sure. A, B, C, D. Okay. Alright, move on. Okay, guys. Provision for legal claim. I want to make sure you are aware of this. Provision can be asked in provision for apa? For redundancy. Redundancy is when you make your staff redundant lah. Okay, and then you have to pay certain compensation to your staff. Hold on, I need to charge my laptop. Okay. So provision, okay, provision that is called provision for redundancy, which companies should pay compensation to their staff who be made redundant. Okay, there's also provision for reorganization. This is when companies decide to reorganize their business, as in maybe close some of the branch, relocate staff to another department, reorganize. Okay, so costs relating to that reorganization should be recorded as a provision. Okay, but for both of this scenario, you have to take note of the number one, there will be a board minute meeting, okay, to discuss, and number two, there will be what's that? This is important one. You have to identify when is the announcement date. Announcement date of this of either this and this, because announcement date is actually the date of provision should be recognized. Okay, so as auditor, usually we are going to look for memo or email being distributed to the whole department, or to the or for this case, for the respective staff. Okay, auditor is going to verify that. Auditor is going to inquire, when did you receive the memo for this redundancy? Because that is the point of time company should record provision. So if the announcement made on, let's say, 30 December, let's say end is 31st December, so they have to record on that year. But if the announcement made after the end, okay, therefore that will be, the company should not record provision. Only disclosure due to what? Due to being something like events after reporting period, something like that. Okay, so yeah. So for these issues, for these two issues, provision for redundancy and reorganization, you can use this method. Okay, so number one is usually discuss with the board minute meeting and discuss with the BOD. Therefore, you will have board minute meeting. Okay, and then after that, usually the board will come up with a list who should be made redundant, or what are the costs expected to be incurred due to this reorganization. Therefore, you can obtain the breakdown or the list. Okay, and number three, the announcement made to that respective staff, or for reorganization, announcement to the whole company that they are going to restructure or reorganize the business. Okay, and after that, they are going to record in FS as per number 4, and they are going to, number 5 is they are going to incur lah. Kalau nak buang staff, therefore have to pay compensation. Then you can look into the bank statement. Okay, if the company reorganize, then they will, after the end, they will start to incur some expenses lah, due to that reorganization. Okay, so you can look into the bank statement. Okay, done for provision. Do look into these two questions, okay, to make sure you are more comfortable to answer provision question. Okay, now revenue. Revenue for this question is a bit special. Let's look into the requirement. Describe, instead of substantive procedure, examiner tells you substantive analytical procedure, meaning that all those compare. Okay, the auditor should perform to obtain yada in relation to Pacifico revenue. What do you think? Is this question easy? Substantive analytical procedure. So let's look into the scenario. So if you throw in agree from this to this to this, will there be any marks? Will there be any marks? If you obtain GDN for the purpose of cut off, will there be any marks? If you say apa? Tak ada lah. Apa lagi? So a general common answer relating to revenue which you already memorized before exam, you cannot utilize here. Okay, so don't get too excited. Nampak je revenue. Oh, I remember. Madam Shahira Spring class, this is the revenue procedure that's supposed to be written in exam. And you start to answer. Please, that's why reread the requirement. Okay, now let's go. The company's revenue has increased by 3.9 million during the year. Okay, last year was 41 point. Apa ni? The company's revenue has increased by 3.9 during the year. Last year was 41.3 million, okay? The management accounts record information for revenue by key product line, which there are 8 products, and also by store. In August, Pacifico opened a new retail store, bringing the number of stores to 14. So they have 8 products and they have 14 stores. In addition, it launched a number of new products across most of the key product lines. Okay, in addition, it launched a number of new products across most of the key product line. Okay, dia jual apa again? They sell cosmetic. Okay, faham. So, they want you to come up with all those comparing. So now what can you compare? So this one I want to test your power sikit. Okay, so I think this question, what question is this again? Pacific Coin, soalan bila ni? Okay, but never mind. Try to come up with four substantive analytical procedure for this scenario. You guys give it a try. As usual, you can type in the chat box and you can just post in the chat box. Okay, give it a try. I've already teach you what is analytical procedure, right? Substantive analytical procedure where we can compare the total amount, compare the ratios, compare the ratios, compare the ratios. What else can we compare? Ini soalan apa ni? Mana lah I punya ni? Mana I punya student-student I yang lain seperti siapa hari ni? Tak ada. Sasi tak ada, AB tak ada, pergi mana tak? Okay, apa ni? Means comparing the total figure can be accepted, is it? It can be accepted if this question is provided figure last year. If the question already provide information relating to prior and current year, you cannot include that in your answer. So this question they already provide for the prior year, and for the current year they already mentioned that revenue increased by 3.9. So yeah, you already have that information. So please don't put that in your please don't design procedure to obtain that information again from your answer in your answer. Okay, what else can we compare? Dan only Kumar's answer. Mana lagi? Answer ada 4, 2, okay, keep it coming. Only 2, Laila. Only 2. Look into the scenario. The hint is in the scenario. You can compare. Okay. The hint of the correct answer is always in the scenario. Okay, now let's go to, let's look into the answer provided by you guys, okay? Dan, any other coming? Ada lagi? Tak ada? No, okay. So let's, Kumar's answer. Compare GP margin for current year and prior year to investigate significant difference. Yes, 1 mark. Compare revenue by product and revenue from the store by store basis for current year against prior year in order to investigate any unusual trends. Okay, this one, Kumar, you can break it down to 2 points. One, you compare revenue by store, and one more is you compare revenue by products. Yeah. Okay. Why should we compare? Okay. The best is we compare by product. Okay. For current year against prior year, meaning that by product for this year and by product for the last year. That is how we can detect unusual trend. Unusual trend or unusual fluctuation. You know, like product A tahun lepas tak laku, tiba-tiba tahun ni laku. There is something, fishy kan? That is what you want to ask your client. Why this product last year it doesn't, contribute much of the sales, but the current year suddenly increased significantly? Can I have a proof? Okay, what is the reason? Yeah, because we are auditor, we have to bring in our skepticism, but we must start from somewhere. That is where this comparing is will be useful. Yeah, and one more thing, you can compare by store. This is how you know certain store, if they, I don't know, like maybe create a fictitious sale, perhaps to get more bonus or to get more incentive from the head office, kan? Okay, or maybe you compare by store, you notice that, this certain store contribute 30% of the sales. Okay, and you notice, no wonder lah, the location is at mana? It's at where? PJ, as compared to the location of the store at mana? Tamak Bernam, tiba-tiba kan Tamak Bernam. Okay, this is why you would want to compare by product and by store. So break it down into 2 points. So answer. Compare GP margin, current, okay, correct, number 1 correct. Compare by key product line and by store. Okay, can by product line and by store. So this one is a bit zoom in lagi. Dia nak by store and by product lines. Which is acceptable. This one is good. Compare average sales. I think it's a little bit fast tadi. Compare average sales for each store. Yeah, to assess the reasonableness of opening. I tarik balik. Okay, now look into your purpose. The reasonableness of opening new store. As auditor, we don't care whether klien nak buka kedai baru ke, tak nak buka kedai baru ke, dia nak buka dekat ceruk mana pun, we don't care. As long as whatever reported in FS is accurate. So we don't really challenge, or we don't really challenge the reasonableness of opening new store. That is not the purpose of reperforming substantive procedure. Remember, SP is all about confirm the figure in FS. So this is not the correct purpose. Okay, compare average sales tu dah betul dah, but more towards maybe to assess if there is a certain to assess if there are any certain store which report higher than average sales, and for further consideration itu, or for further investigation.
Macam kalau to assess the sales amount of each stock. Okay.
To assess the reasonableness of
Sales amount
each,
of each.
to assess the reasonableness of the sales amount of each stock. Boleh? Okay, next one. Compare new product sales. Compare new product sales of each store to investigate if it increase in revenue. Okay, number 4 can is correct answer. Because we as auditor we want to know, right? Maybe there is a certain new product which could be the reason why there is such increase of how many percent just now? Of increase by 3.1 million. Okay, so we might want to investigate. Oh, perhaps increase of this 3.1 million is due to this new product. Okay, can. Laila, compare current year prior, yes. Compare GP margin, yes. Compare the revenue store. Compare the revenue from each store to even see any significant difference. Any significant difference. Okay, can lah. Okay, so basically, if you come across substantive analytical procedure question, yeah, that will be the answer. That will be the answer. Substantive, all those comparing. Okay, so now that we are on topics of substantive analytical procedure, I want to make sure that you are aware of this one procedure called proof in total. Do you know what is proof in total? Have you come across proof in total? Saya pula pen I nak keluar pasal phone. Do you know what is proof in total? Have you come across proof in total yet? Yes. Okay, so if you ever come across proof in total procedure, okay, so let me demo to you what is proof in total. I want you to imagine we have all the data from client on what? On selling price per unit and sold unit for the year. Okay, so you have this data from client. So from the data that you get from client, you start to calculate. Let's say 5 ringgit per unit for item A, sold about 300,000. Goods B or item B, 10 ringgit per unit, sold about 100,000 unit. Okay, because they only have 8 apa? Okay, they only have around 8 products, kan? So I think this is doable lah. Okay, you do it at 8 products. So you get the total. After all this, you get the total. Yeah, let's say the total is apa? Sekejap Saya buat juga tak pandai nak cuma 41.3 3.0. Itu kat buat ni, itulah 45.2. Okay, let's see. After you calculate, you dapat berapa? 45.32 million. After you calculate. Okay, you get this from the data provided by the client. And then the next step is, okay, for proof in total, after you get the expected sales, this is what we call as a expected sales. And after this, we are going to compare with the amount in the general ledger or amount in FS, which is, okay, if my calculation is correct, 45.2. Okay, 45.2. So we are going to calculate what is the difference. So the difference is around 0.12 million. Okay, so if you think this difference of expected sales and actual sales is immaterial, okay, it's only small differences, then we are going to conclude that this sales amount is accurate. However, if expected sales and actual sales is the difference is quite a huge gap, quite a big gap, then we are going to inquire the management. Okay, so guys, proof in total is actually part of the analytical procedure. Why? Because of this. After we get the expected sales, we are going to compare with the sales presented in FS, which is why proof in total is part of substantive analytical procedure. This knowledge is tested in section A. The examiner asks from you which are the procedure represent substantive analytical procedure. And one of the answer is proof in total. Okay, right, done. Okay. Okay, I think macam mana? One more, okay? One more. Tak apalah, kita bersusah-susah dahulu, bersenang-senang kemudian. Okay, let's look into bank lah. Tadi bank, where is bank? Should we discuss on bank? Because for me, bank is quite easy. You obtain bank information, you obtain bank reconciliation, you look into that bank reconciliation, perform procedure on that bank reconciliation. 5 marks. Okay, obtain bank statement. So I think this one is quite easy. Okay, but okay, I think let's just a recap for you guys. Hold on. Okay, let's look for where is my notes relating to bank. I think bank ni I ajar awal-awal sikit. Is it? You can set bank balances. Okay, let's revise lah for bank. Okay, to answer the question just now. Alright, so alright, that question just now. What is it? Okay, this one. Examiner mentioned they have bank overdraft, they have current account. Okay, the current account relating to several savings account, and then all has been reconciled. So this is all the hints. Can you see? Kalau I pakai yang mana tu? Oh, this one better. This one better lah kot, Okay. Yeah, all of it is a hint or a guide provided by examiner to you on what to include in your answer. Okay, so the next paragraph, the overdraft of 5.1 million has increased significantly. The writers have informed that the overdraft facility is due for renewal. Okay, actually this one is meant for this one, meant to answer requirement D. So yeah, okay. So 5 marks here. I would say bank recon around 3. There's a lot of marks relating to bank recon. Okay, current account you allocate 1 marks. Overdraft you allocate 1 mark. So in total 5 marks. Okay, so on the current account or the normal bank account, you can obtain bank statement and bank confirmation letter for you to confirm lah on the value, on the value of the current account. Basically that's it. Same goes for bank overdraft. You can obtain this and this. It's okay if you repeat the same documents. Okay, so my suggestion would be you put in some introduction in your SP. Something like this, for current account. Okay, and then you put in your verb, subject, and purpose. So for example, inspect, okay, bank statement and bank confirmation letter, okay, to confirm the balance on current account. Okay, so for bank overdraft, if you want to repeat the same procedure, would be fine because it is for you are confirming 2 different amount presented in FS. Okay, and then I will add on here lah. Okay, one more thing, if your client have current account and also bank overdraft, as auditor, we are going to make sure that it is not being set off. Okay, this is exam question. Something I remember, client have around 2 million in their bank account, so overdraft is around 1 million. So client present their in the FS as a net of the bank, which is bank 1 million. Is this permissible? The answer is it is not permissible. It is not allowable because individually it will be misstated. Okay, because it is of different nature. So for this, you can include your procedure in saying something like inspect FS, okay, to ensure current account it is recorded in current asset and overdraft is recorded in current liability. Okay, and then for the bank recon, you may use any of these answer given here. Out of these 4, just pick 3, then you are done on answering that question. So for me, that question is quite general. They don't put in any issues relating to that question. Okay, they don't put in any issues in relation to that question. Alright. So any question on bank, on how to audit bank? Just I want to double confirm with you. If you have any issues on bank account, on how to audit bank, let me know. You can let me know now. Any problem? Oops, sorry. Okay, so this is my illustrations of bank recon. And how can you get marks out of this bank recon? There are 4 marks under bank recon alone. Okay, these are examples of bank confirmation letter. Okay, so no question. Okay, alright. So I think I have reached my target for today, which is teach you on how to audit. Not to say audit lah, tapi generate answer, the thinking process for balance sheet item. Okay, and we have looked into where is it? Okay, we have looked into trade payable question, which is this type of question you might need to input specific procedure, utilizing or appreciating the issues given by examiner here. Okay, and show you how to audit a provision, which is we are going to use the second approach, where you might need to look into what is the process and generate answer from there. And for revenue, substantive analytical procedure. Okay, so for this one, it can be tested what? Relating to payroll, relating to purchase. Okay, but the concept is the same. Basically, you just tukar-tukar je lah revenue, all the input for revenue you replace with the purchase. Okay, yeah, I think I'm done for tonight. I want to cover with you actually one more, which is relating to inventory. Because I think eventually for sure will come out in exam. Okay, so I think we cover inventory first tomorrow morning, guys. We have class 9:30 until 12:30, and then we take a break around 1 hour and a half. If you want to go out makan-makan boleh, and then we continue from 2 until until 4 ke, until 5 ke, until whatever I wish to cover lah. Okay, and that will be our last class. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow we cover inventory, which is quite long, and then after that audit report, and last one is a bit on audit review, such as going concern, subsequent event. Dua ni lah yang selalu tanya. Okay guys, so I guess that's it for tonight. I see you tomorrow 9:30. Okay, any other question when you want to ask? So esok kita tengok soalan ni sekali yang mana tadi. Okay, yeah, I'm going to help you for this one, inventory count. Because I think inventory will come out in exam. Discipline. Okay. Alright, so if there's no question, then you are dismissed. If you guys have any question, I'm here. You can ask and you can stay and ask. Okay guys, bye-bye. See you tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m.
Thank you, Madam.
Sama-sama.